Hello everyone, welcome to Minecraft 1.21.5 Spring Drop. Whoopee! Yippee! As of recording, I actually don't know what this is called. They haven't released the name yet. I'm filming this ahead of time just so I can release it on the day of, get those little views. But anyway, yeah, this is the Spring Drop, otherwise known as whatever the update is called. Update. Drop date. Drop date. It's a drop date. It's a drop. It's an update. Same thing. Whatever. Let's just get to it. Today I'm going to be talking about like a lot of things because this is a much bigger update drop date than the Garden Awakens. Like I think the Garden Awakens only had like two feature snapshots. This one had quite a few, as you can see by my very large build. This took a while to build, and I'm very proud of it. But anyway, so today we're going to be talking about some mob changes, new features, sound changes, texture updates, and other miscellaneous changes. And I think the best place to start would probably be the new features. So yeah, let's start with that first. Alright, here we are. Don't mind like my 10 dogs. But so we'll start with the new mob textures. Obviously, as you can see around the place, we have all sorts of new farm animal textures. And these are based off of whether they spawn in a warm or cold biome. So, for example, take the chicken. Right here is what we would call a temperate chicken. I'm pretty sure you're familiar with that one. But somewhere, probably within the forest somewhere, yep, there's one. That right here is the warm chicken. It's very golden. Looks like it's been rotisseried. And over here, ignore this, is the cold chicken. It kind of looks like it has netherite armor on. And this is pretty much applied to all of the mobs. So like over there's a warm pig. That's a temperate pig over there. Another warm pig. There's a normal cow. A warm cow over there. And yeah. Overall pretty cool texture changes. Oh, there's a cold pig. We'll probably see more of the textures as the video goes on because they'll like pop out every now and then. But other than that, there isn't actually like any real difference between the variants. The only one that actually does, oh, there's the cold cow. The only one that actually does is the chicken itself, because depending on what variant of chicken you have, it will produce a different type of egg. So the temperate egg, or temperate chicken, I guess the temperate egg just looks like this. And the cold chicken will spawn the cold blue egg, and the warm chicken will spawn the brown egg. And each egg corresponds to what type of chicken it will spawn. So if I throw a normal egg, I'll eventually get a baby chicken, just a normal everyday baby chicken. But if I throw a blue egg, I will get the cold chicken. If I get a chicken, there it is. And then the brown egg will spawn the warm chicken. There we go. So that's just an easier way to get like these biome variants for the chickens, at least. With the other mobs, it's kind of, you just gotta find them. And once you find them, you don't have to breed them in their specific warm or cold biome. They'll just be randomized, kind of like dogs. Like if you breed two, you get like a random of one of the parent variants. So yeah, overall very cool. Also, that is the hot cow. I really like this one. It looks cool, kind of like a Red Bull. Yeah. Next, we will be talking about the leaf litter. So what does it look like? It's all over here under these trees. Basically, you're gonna find leaf litter in forests, dark oak forests, and wooded badlands. These are kind of like bed flower blocks, similar to like pink petals, and they make funny crunching sounds when you walk on them. You can't turn them into any sort of dye. They're not exactly flowers. They're just dead leaves. But you can make more of them. You can't bone meal it though. In order to make more, what you will need is oak leaves. And with oak leaves, you will cook into a leaf litter block. Now, from the leaf litter, you can actually use this as fuel. I don't remember how many it cooks, but judging the fact that it's leaf litter, it's kind of just leaves. It's probably takes like maybe 2 leaf litters to cook one item. But that's just my assumption. But yeah, very cool block. Very cool, very nice. Good ambience, by the way. And very nice sounds. speaking of leaves, actually, we're gonna move on to the leaf particles, and these are the giant like leaf particles that have been falling on the trees so far. They all look the same. They're actually they use the same leaf particle as the pale oak one, but now it's just been applied to all the leaves in the game except for cherry. Cherry still has its unique pink petal particle, if we can see it. Yep, that one over there. It also has a very unique way of falling, unlike the other particles. Like these ones are kind of circular, well that one's kind of like it's wind blowing in the wind. But overall, yeah, that's kind of just that's the change. Just leaves will now create ambient effects. Very cool. But yeah, that was the leaf particles. And next, we should talk about the new wildflower block. This is another bedflower block, and they're right over here. It's kind of like it's got like yellow and white flowers, even silver. It's kind of silverish. I kind of like these, and they work just like pink petals. You can put them in any rotation, put them up to 4, and they're just very nice. You can find these in the birch forest, so that's birch and old growth birch, as well as meadows. So these are very, very cool. And the dye they turn into, I think I have a image here. Yep, here we go. The dye is yellow dye. It doesn't ever turn into like white or light gray or anything. It's always gonna be yellow dye. And overall, another cool decorative block. I think it really helps with the birch forest, especially. Like, the birch forest right now, it looks cool. I like the old growth birch forest a lot, but with the flowers, it looks really nice. Next, we are going to talk about some more plants. These are not flowers, these are foliage, and they are the new bush and firefly bush. So I have them in here. Where the hell did you come from? I have them in here. So this is the bush, and this is the firefly bush, and they have unique-ish properties, I guess you could say. First things first, the bush, this is what it looks like. I kind of like it. It is a little similar to grass, I will admit, but I do like that it adds a little more, like, eye candy to this biome, especially, like, when you just, like, kind of glance at it, like, oh, it's like a darker grass. That's pretty much it for the bush, though. Extra thing about it is when you bone meal it, it actually has a different property. A lot of the plants in this update have kind of like different ways of growing. Instead of like creating like a new item, like 2 tall flowers, it actually kind of spreads. So yeah, as you can see, like when I bone meal it, it spreads to like whatever side it's open. Obviously, if it has no more sides, you can't bone meal anymore. I'm trying to bone it right here, but like it doesn't work. And that's pretty much the bush. Overall, pretty cool. You need shears to shear it, by the way. It's pretty much just grass. However, we have a special type of bush, the firefly bush. This one is a little bit more interesting. First of all, this is what it looks like. I have them placed over here in this little miniature swamp. And yes, you're going to find these in the swamp, the mangrove swamp, and actually in badlands as well, specifically near like the rivers of a badland. And when you bone meals, these ones, they don't spread, they actually act. Oh wait, what? It's new. I didn't know they did that now. When they were first introduced, basically, they kind of just popped out like 2 tall flowers when you bone meal those. But now they seem to grow just like bushes, which is kind of cool. But yeah, as you can see, as it's getting darker, these cool little particles are starting to pop up, and it's basically fireflies. So this is finally our fireflies, which are now in the game. These are pretty cool. And it's not based off of light level like the creaking heart from last drop. It's based off of darkness. So the darker it gets, the more fireflies will appear. So even if it was daytime, if I put it in like a dark area like over there, it would still spawn at least some fireflies, but at night it will spawn a lot because it's obviously dark. But it's very cool, and I really like them, and I think they're awesome. And they are 1 pixel now. So epic. But yeah, and as you can tell, they make a lot of noise. We'll get to that in a bit. Next, we should talk about... Let's talk about the new grass and the cactus flower. Here is the cactus flower. If you put it in a crafting grid, it'll turn into pink dye. And these are the tall and short dry grass. Now you can place these on any type of sand, terracotta, and just grass in general. Oh, can you get out of the way? Thank you. You can place these on any type of grass, and they have like this weird thing where they're like kind of height based. So like some are shorter than others. That happens with both grass. And sheep can eat them. You can actually grow these. When you bone meal the short one, it turns into tall grass. But then when you do the tall grass, it does the same thing like the bush, where it like spreads. But it spreads short grass, so still very cool. I like it. It is just grass at the end of the day. There's nothing really special about it. But the next block is the cactus flower, and we actually have some over here on the cactuses. This is how they grow. Basically, they'll every now and then you have a chance to have these grow on cactus. By the way, if you don't want these to grow on cactus, you just have to put blocks near the top of where the cactus flower would be growing. So like, let's say I have like fences around this block where there's nothing, it will never grow into a cactus flower basically. So if you want to make sure your cactus like if you want to make sure your cactus farm never breaks, just put fences around, and then it'll never grow cactus flower, because after it grows a cactus flower, it stops growing. But all you have to do with these is just like punch them. Similar with the firefly bushes, I forgot to mention, you just punch them to get them. And after that, you have this pretty little pink flower, which you can actually just kind of place anywhere that has a full center. So like I can place these on a log or the grass. I can't place these on a chest though, because they are not full blocks. I might be able to place this on a lantern. I have never tried. No, I cannot. Okay, makes sense. Basically, you can place them on like fences and stuff, but just like anything that doesn't have like a full top center, you can't place these. But other than that, yeah, these are very nice looking. Have wonderful sounds. I really like the sounds of them. And overall, another very cool block to use in your world. Very pink, very beautiful. And yeah, let me put these back in here. And oh, I had cactus. Oh, whatever, it's fine. The last thing for the new features is actually a parody update. So Bedrock people, this probably doesn't matter to you, but we now have fallen logs in Java. So over here, this is what a fallen log looks like. The size of it can really vary. Sometimes they'll just spawn with a stump, and you can also see that it has features on it. So it can sometimes it spawns with vines, sometimes it spawns with mushrooms. It can be brown or red. Sometimes it just doesn't spawn with anything. And these can be found in oak variants, birch variants, jungle variants, and spruce variants, and can be found anywhere where those trees generate, except for meadows and flower forests, besides the birch tree. The birch tree is a weird exception in the flower forest where it can actually spawn fallen birch tree logs, but not oak fallen logs. You get what I'm saying? It's a little weird. Basically, they can spawn anywhere except meadows and flower forests, except for birch logs. They can spawn there still. I don't know why. But yeah, that's the... Hi, what's up? Very cool. But yeah, that's pretty much all the new features in this update. We still have a lot more to cover because there's a lot of changes that I have to go through because there's a whole section over there. But overall, yeah, very cool update. Very cool features. Let's move on. Alright, we are here at the miscellaneous features as well as ambient sounds. I don't know why I didn't put them over there. I just thought it would be kind of cool just to leave them here. But let's just start with the ambient sounds. There's a lot of new sounds in this update. I'm just letting you know. But the main ones, the new ones at least, will be over here. So they're called like dry and windy sounds. If you can't see like my subtitles like over here, they're kind of showing it off. And basically you can get these by either using sand, red sand, terracotta, or dead bushes. And how it works is, like, for the dead bush, you just have to place it on sand, and the sand has to be like 2 blocks deep, if I remember, and that can create dry sounds. And as well as the sand and red sand and terracotta basically just have to have like a bundled up together, at least 8 blocks nearby connected, and then it'll create like the sounds. And there's specific sounds. For example, the windy sounds actually only generate in desert biomes. So like this is actually a desert biome. I used the fill biome command, and That's why we can hear the sandy sounds, because outside of that, you can't actually hear the sandy sounds. But you can hear the dry sounds anywhere. You just gotta have the right combination of blocks to make them. But other than that, very cool sounds. Speaking of sounds, we also have new iron block sounds, which I will show you right now. They are all the same, so I will not show you, but these are all the blocks that have the new sounds. It's just the block of iron, the chain, the iron bars, iron door, trap door, and the iron pressure plate, and it sounds like this. I don't know if you can really hear the difference, but it is ever so slightly different. It's pretty cool, and just more like attention to detail. And it was pretty cool. Actually, we do have one more sound regarding these little guys. If you couldn't tell, there are some pretty new sounds, and I actually have a whole different board for it, and these are the new wolf sounds. Now, the wolf sounds aren't actually dependent on the type of wolf. They're randomized, so now you can pretty much have a new dog with like a different type, different voice, different armor color, and different collar color, and I think that's pretty cool. More variation. And there are, how many is it? 6 new sounds, including the classic, which we all know and love. So the new sounds are big, cute, puglin, angry, grumpy, and sad. Now, I'm pretty sure right now I have 2 dogs, one with big and the other with cute. It's either cute or puglin, I'm not actually sure. And then the rest are classic. But it's still pretty cool. I really like that. It adds more variation, and it feels more immersive because they don't all sound the same anymore, and I think it's pretty cool. Speaking of sounds, there is actually one more sound, and that is the firefly bush. The really annoying buzzing you've been hearing so far is indeed the firefly bush. And it really only happens when they're active, so like when you see the particles, they're gonna make these sounds, and it's kind of like a cricket sound. It gets really annoying. But overall, pretty good sound. Cool. You're only gonna really hear it in like the swamps and stuff, so it doesn't really matter unless you bring it to your base to make particles. If then, you have a problem, and I hope you get used to the sound. Otherwise, you are going to hate this block as well as love this block. But anyway, let's move on to more features. Let's start with actually, since it's daytime, we're actually going to start with the Pale Garden changes. First things first, the Pale Garden they have gotten your feedback, and it has been increased in size, so you should now find like bigger Pale Gardens from now on. They'll still be, every now and then you'll still find like really small ones or like smaller ones, but now the bigger ones, like the really big ones, will be found more often. And another thing about the Pale Garden is there has been a texture change for the Creaking Heart. As you can see, this is in its dormant state, and its dormant state now has a texture. If you don't know what its dormant state is, it's basically, it's active, but it's not actually working because it's daytime, so it doesn't have a creaking spawned. Basically, the difference here is that before we just use like the not working texture, this one, but its dormant state now has like, it's like barely lit. It's basically dormant, like it's not doing anything. Overall, very cool change. Very cool changes. Personally, not one I care too much about, because personally I haven't even found the Pale Garden yet in my world. Oh, here's the cold cow, by the way. It looks like a yak. Pretty cool. Pretty epic. What else? But yeah, that's the Pale Garden changes. Did I ever mention the sheep? I don't think I mentioned the sheep. I never mentioned the sheep since they don't really have like any variants, but they're now kind of like color based on the biome. So basically, black sheep spawn more in cold biomes, and brown sheep spawn more in warm biomes. Just know that. That's all the big change for sheep. Besides one more thing, I'd never really thought about this, but sheeps did get a pretty big change, which is actually kind of a miscellaneous thing. If you shear it, it is now in parity with Java. You now have the wool coating to be the same. Before, it would just turn white, and then until it ate, it would turn back to brown. But now it will stay its color, even when sheared. That is a pretty cool change, which is also a change I actually forgot to put up here. But one thing I didn't forget to put up here is there are new cow and mushroom texture updates. We can actually kind of see it if we just look at a cow. But if you look at the new cow, I guess you wouldn't notice because it's still new. So let's actually just spawn one. As you can see, its texture is slightly more softer compared to like the old one. And the biggest thing is that its snout is now 3D, which is the same with the mushroom. Softer texture, 3D snout. And its eyes are no longer soulless. I can see some light. That is very cool. Happens with the brown one too. Overall, very cool, very awesome. I do kind of wish that they made like their ears 3D too. That would have been cool, but it's fine. I don't really mind. Overall, solid change. Very epic. Put these back. Next let's talk about powdered snow. This is actually a feature I completely forgot to mention like ever in any of my snapshot videos, but there is a new change with powdered snow. So this is 4 blocks high. Anything above 3 blocks will no longer kind of help you. Powdered snow will no longer like stop you from falling. You'll just continue falling through the powdered snow. But like, however, if I fall from like 3 blocks high, so or less than 3 blocks, okay, this is gonna be hard. It stops. That is the change. It is pretty cool. I just thought it was kind of small, so I never mentioned it in the snapshots, but I might as well mention it here. I think it will help you a little bit more because you won't just like stop onto like the block, like 3,000 blocks in the air and die. Instead, you'll just go through the snow and it'll reset your jump or your fall. Pretty cool change though. Just not one I really care too much about. But next is a pretty big change. It's to the lodestone. Now the lodestone has gotten a few changes in this update. First one's being that it has a new recipe. By the way, if you don't know what a lodestone is, this is probably why. So its new recipe is replace the netherite ingot with iron ingot surrounded by the chiseled copper. So it's pretty much the same. The only difference it replaced its very expensive piece with an iron ingot. So it now should be much easier to make, which is also why most people didn't make it, because it was made out of a netherite ingot. But also, you can now find them in the ruined portal structures in the chests. They're quite common, and usually when you find them in 2. So usually they're like 2 in it per chest if you ever find them. And they're not too hard to find, and I hope this gets people to use it more because it is a very useful block. If you don't know what this does, basically you place it in your world, then you get like a compass. Where is a compass? There is a compass. You get your compass, and then this compass will just point towards your lodestone that you set it to. It's a very cool feature. It's very expensive until this update, which is pretty epic. But yeah, that's it for the lodestone. Pretty cool change. Now the last change I'll go over. Oh wait, no, actually I have 2 more changes. I completely forgot about this one. But the next change we'll just go over is the beacon rendering changes. Now beacons, you know them, you love them. They give you funny buffs. They have this giant thing in the sky. I don't know what it's called. The beam. Now the beam is what we're going to be talking about. Now basically the beam here, it changes. It has been changed so that it no longer like disappears at 16 chunks. What it actually does, it disappears at your render distance. So as long as it's within your render distance, it will stay. Now I can't really show this off because I am in, how many chunks am I in? 14. It would already disappear, or it would stay. No, it would disappear because my render distance is gone. But if I were to increase this to like 32, which let's hope this doesn't crash my game. Oh my gosh, it is lagging. Give it a second. Alright, I think we're far enough. This is definitely way past 16 chunks. But if we go outside of the render distance of the beacon, it's going to disappear. Hold on. I am sorry for the lag. It is I'm not supposed to be playing at this high. Yeah, as soon as it exits our render distance, it will disappear. But As soon as we enter back in, you can see the beam. And this is just supposed to help you find it easier. Because before it was maximum 16 chunks. So as soon as you left that 16 chunks, even if your render distance was like much higher, like maybe even 200 if you use mods, like you wouldn't be able to see it. So now, even if you have like 200 chunks rendered, you can see it as long as it's within your render distance limit, which is pretty cool if you ask me. Now I gotta go back. Hold on. Oh, hi. What's up? Yeah, that was pretty cool. Pretty cool change. Um, I actually remember it was like broken when it was first introduced, where it would just like keep going no matter if it was outside your render distance. So you could go like 2,000 chunks away from your limit, and you'd still see it. It was pretty funny. But next we're gonna talk about the villager changes, which is specifically towards the cartographer and wandering trader. We've actually talked about these before. These are pretty old changes. They just finally implemented them. Not all of them, just the less controversial ones. So if I get a wandering trader and a villager with a cartography table, and I place them, let's place them right here in the desert. Please become a cartographer. Thank you very much. And I trade with you. You are going to give me some new trades, which is pretty epic. Come back here. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Now, if you level him up to level 2, he should be giving you new traits. And these are the village maps. Now, I am obviously in a super flat world, so there aren't any special villages. But usually, they would give you things like plain villages, and I think this one gives you jungle villages, or no, the jungle exploration map. There are actually 2 new maps besides the village maps, which is the jungle exploration and the swamp exploration map, which points you to a jungle temple or a swamp hut. And those are based on whether or not what village cartographer type you're trading with. So like plains, I'm pretty sure will take you to either a desert village or a snowy village, and then from there it'll branch into different types of villages. It's kind of like a network. You want to find a certain village to get to find another certain village to find another certain village, and so on. Very cool. I don't know who's making the weird sounds. But yeah, that's the cartographer. That's his new traits basically. It's from the villager rebalancing. If you don't know, there's an experimental feature type thing in your world creation. If you go to experiments, you can turn on the toggle and you get some other changes that aren't in this because they're kind of controversial and a lot of people don't like them. I don't really care for them. But yeah, we got the good changes basically. The other good change is the change to the wandering trader. Now, this guy has some new trades. You can actually sell him stuff. These are things like water bottles. I think you can trade with him twice. It used to only be once, but now it's twice. Could you not disappear from me? Okay, hold on. Where are you? There you are. Hi, I need you. You can trade with him twice and get 2 emeralds, and then he also has some new traits. So he has cherry logs. He can sell logs. It doesn't have to just be the cherry logs. It can just be any log. He also has just better trades. Most of the trades have now just become 1 emerald instead of like the ridiculous 2 or whatever. I don't know why some of them were like 2 when you only got 1 item. Like overall, it is a little better. He also has like new items to give if we can find it. Could you perhaps give me one of the new trades, please? Oh, here over here is a potion of invincibility. You can buy these only once, by the way. But overall, he has some new trades. You can trade hay bales, baked potatoes. What else is there? Water bottles, milk buckets. Some of these actually give more emeralds than 1, which is pretty cool. And actually, I don't think something we've ever seen before. Water bucket, potato. You can also give him like spider eyes, fermented spider eyes, I think specifically. Hi. Whoa, hi. Okay. And he has new trades like logs, invisibility potion. He has enchanted pickaxes too, as well as some new items. Like I think he can trade the bush and firefly bush, as well as the wild flowers and some of the dry grass. But overall, his trades I think have personally improved. I think they've gotten a little better. There is less of a chance to get the thing you want, though, so that is a downside to this. But overall, those were the new villager trades. Pretty cool and very useful for this update, especially cartographer, because he's going to help you find the biomes you want to find to get all this new stuff. And overall, yeah, that was all the miscellaneous changes, except for one, which has its own little board over here. And that is the spawn egg texture overhaul. Now, all the spawn eggs have received new textures, and they're all very unique. There's over 81, which is, I think, how many mobs are in the game. And each spawn egg has a unique trait, so some will have like ears, some will have legs, some will be shown in the water, and some are actually smaller and bigger than others. So for example, the Enderman is quite big, while the Endermite is actually quite small. Or something like the creaking is actually kind of huge, as well as the gas. And yeah, overall, they're all pretty cool. There's only like, they don't really have eyes. Only 2 of them actually have eyes. And that's the creeper, which is actually replaced the pig in the inventory. So now the spawn eggs look like these. Here we go. As well as the tadpole. I don't remember. Tadpole is over here. It's so much easier to find these, by the way. Oh my goodness. Like I just said, where's the tadpole? And I look for it and I find it. And yes, he has eyes. I don't know why he has eyes. But overall, very cool. If you want to look at these on your own, just open the update. And if the update's not out right now, just wait a little bit. Because I don't know when it comes out. It may come out early. I may release this early. I may release this late. I don't know. But overall, pretty cool. And very lovely. Very helpful. Because now I don't have to like scroll through all of them. I just feel like, is this the horse? No, this is not the horse. This is not the horse. Oh, there's the horse. No, that's not a horse. That's a mule. Oh my god. And yeah, it just helps with like readability. Like, it's awesome. Some of these are still like a little hard to tell what they are. So like, some people have a very difficult time seeing like, what is this? Oh, it's a skeleton. Then what is this? Oh, it's a skeleton horse. Then what is this? Oh, it's a ghast. Like, these all look very similar, and I do agree they could have done a little better, but it's just overall an improvement to the old same spawn eggs over and over again that drove me nuts trying to find something that I didn't memorize what it looked like, so I had to look through the entire list. But yeah, that's like the last big change. There are also some other things they added. They're all technical though, and I didn't really pay attention to them. Like this one has a frowny face. This one has a smiley face. This one is it's a message icon. I don't know what this is supposed to look like. This looks like the warm cow. I don't know what any of these do, but they're pretty cool. Load a message. Log it. I don't know what they do. You can figure them out on your own. It's in the changelog. They definitely explained it in the changelog. I just never looked at them. But yeah, that's basically everything in the spring drop. The insert name here drop. I don't know what it is called yet. But pretty awesome. Pretty cool. This is a great drop. I must say, this is one of my favorites. Definitely one of the better ones compared to like the 4 we've gotten so far. There's like pots and bats. Armored Paws is pretty good actually. Then Garden Awakens and Bundles of Bravery. This is a pretty good one. This is a pretty big one because there's a lot of features for the drops we've been getting so far. This is the biggest one we've ever gotten. But yeah, that'll be it for the episode or the video. I hope you enjoyed. And if you did, leave a like and subscribe. I always do these with every update, so if you ever want update news, just subscribe and you'll see more content like this. And I hope to see you next update review or even snapshot review. Yeah, this is Vale. Goodbye.